Me, 25M, and 23F, have changed a lot in our 6 years together and have very different mindsets of late. Are we wasting our time trying to save this? Some background: me, M25, and my GF, F23, have been together for 6 years. We knew each other as teens as she was dating a friend of mine at that time, and we always got along well. She's had a few other short-term boyfriends before me. I've only had one other girlfriend very short-term. First year or so was very rocky. I caught her messaging other men and it really broke me. Ended up moving past this and she moved in with me very early on. This was a big change for her as we were about an hour away from where she was living with her parents, so away from friends etc. Around this point we became tied at the hip basically, and I stopped seeing lots of my friends due to her not wanting to go out with people she didn't know and her not seeing her friends too often due to the distance. The drama with me finding her texting other guys sort of never left me, and caused me to always, at least for a major chunk of the relationship, be very worried when she would go out with friends etc. I went through stages of checking her phone and deep diving into her Instagram followers etc. Like I said, this was my first real relationship and I was very new to this. I know this was unhealthy, just trying to give POV from both sides. Fast forward a few years to COVID, I started gaming again, which I hadn't for years, and she was getting annoyed with me not spending all my time with her during lockdown. Partway through we had a break and she went back to her parents for a long chunk of the lockdowns. We eventually made up and came to the conclusion that if we are going to be together we need to learn to respect each other's space and be able to be together but alone, as well as I need to learn that she has needs for attention more than I do, so I should make more of an effort to fulfill these rather than sitting on Discord with the boys all night. Things were worse than they were in the honeymoon phase, but that's expected later into a relationship. Last few years, a lot has happened in our personal lives. I went on a fitness/health arc, inherited some money, my business took off, and I bought us a puppy. She on the other hand had become noticeably unhappy and unmotivated. She stopped looking after herself, stopped cleaning, which she used to love doing. She would spend her whole day on a Sunday deep cleaning, and then when going back to her parents she would do the same there, and put on a significant amount of weight. She wasn't happy with how she looked and how she was changing. I offered to help her, cook and meal prep for her, take her gym, go on walks etc., but she always lacked the motivation and wouldn't follow through. I felt hopeless trying to help her and she spiraled more and more into this and wouldn't want to speak to me about it or get help/let me help/help herself. On top of this she also would go back to her parents' house at nearly every possible opportunity, which causes us to have little to no time together outside of evenings, but with gym, cooking, and both being tired from work there is a great deal of excitement that can be achieved then. Evenings turned into more arguments as she would come in from work, sit on her phone scrolling for hours and hours with headphones in, walk around the house with headphones in, which would make it impossible for her to hear me if I would try talk to her. She wouldn't eat her dinner and shower/get ready for bed until the last minute before I would get into bed. This caused problems. As mentioned above, I run a business which causes me to need to be up early and ready for a very physically demanding job. This compounded with her quitting her job randomly and getting a new job back at her parents and planning to move back without telling me beforehand, only found out a day before she was meant to move back when she regretted everything and asked me to help fix the mess she made, has really put me off her and made me unattracted to her mindset, lack of motivation and discipline etc. I've told her this and been honest that I am not really attracted to the person she has become, and with this current mindset and lifestyle I can't see how we can prosper into the future and especially raise kids etc. in a loving household. I lent her some money and we together went on holiday as once last hurrah to try reignite the spark and fix our relationship. She promised it would be a full reset for her, and once we got home things would be different. She would eat healthy, get motivated, get off the phone and be more responsive to me. This didn't happen. She also went behind my back and got lip fillers, and some other minor cosmetic treatments. I stupidly said, "What's wrong with your lips?" She said she did it for me to be more attractive, even though I've always said I do not find those things attractive. I think she more did this for herself as she is currently not happy with how she looks. This brings me to the current day. I've really got to my wit's end and been thinking about how life could be different and better. I love her still and want her to do great and want to help her start a business in her desired field or to help her be a housewife, whichever she would prefer, as she says these two things are what she wants to do most, but I really can't bring myself to deal with this anymore. I don't know if this is just a rough patch and we are going to throw 6 years away over it, or if we have just matured and gone down different paths. I spoke to her and we agreed we are both not happy and we should probably split up, but both of us are very sad thinking about this and are both worried we will throw a good thing away due to a rough patch and forever regret this. I know we are naive and young and dumb. Obviously there's stuff missing from the story and I am probably biased towards myself. I'm not perfect, nowhere near, but I just want some thoughts from others. My family isn't really great at these types of conversations, and within my friends group not many people have had very long-term relationships especially similar in circumstances to mine, so they don't really know what to say. What are your thoughts on our experience? Does it sound like a rough patch, or that we have just grown apart? Do we try for another 6 months to fix this, as Eve's seen a lot of other posts suggest that, even though we have tried for the last 6 to 12 to do that? I really don't know, my head is a mess and just need to vent and hear some opinions. Thanks to anyone who read this and will throw me their 2 cents. TLDR, 6 years started rough, got great, last few years both have gone down very different paths. I've become very motivated and ambitious, she has spiraled into a lack of motivation and self-discipline and won't help herself or let anyone else help her, both within last 12-18 months. I've bought my feelings up every now and then for the last year or so, and we have both been aware this needs fixing. Is it time to move on, or do we try for another 6 months to fix this to not throw away 6 years of our prime?